Let's start off with this map. I shamelessly yoinked this from an 11-year-old. An 11-year-old Reddit post, but it's a good map, so a long overdue shout out to this guy for making it. It's got the Hornets as the Bobcats, so this is some real vintage stuff. I will fix that in a couple of slides. Don't rush me. Anyways, there are 30 teams, split 15 East and 15 West. But that line kind of sucks. Just take a look at Tennessee geographically penetrating the East like that. They are all up in there like swimwear. I know it's Appalachia and they don't really mind a little step conference action, but I kind of live near that border and I don't appreciate getting poked by the huge grizzy glizzy that is the entire state of 10-inch sea. My solution, which I think might be even more American than gerrymandering or displacing native populations, is dividing the North and South. So I'm proposing the 2025 Mason-Dixon basketball line, or MDBBL, to protect our sovereign right to not get genitally jousted by the West and to keep our lines nice and straight as Big G intended. Now, there are all kinds of dynamics that would arise from switching to such a system, which I'm sure a better, more informational channel run by a smarter, taller, more handsome creator with a beautiful wife and 2.3 kids living in a 5,000 square foot, white picket fenced condo overlooking the slopes of a tropical ski resort in Monaco could really break down for you in astonishing detail. We could talk time zones, jet lag, competitive balance, rivalries, static sticks, yada yada. But we don't do that here because I don't know shit about fuck. I am here to scribble on a map, so let's continue. For those of you who can count, which I'm assuming is a pretty low percentage of y'all, if you haven't already clicked off this video, you'll notice that this line doesn't divide the conferences into 15 and 15 because of these three teams kind of being in my way. And for you wise asses, yes, this line is straight, mostly. Google Mercator projection. If you don't believe me, you noob. Anyways, to solve that issue, I've taken the liberty of simply moving Utah to Louisiana, but the Pelicans are already there, and I have reason to believe Zion Williamson, aka Jumbo Jambalaya, does not intend to share his plate. So Mississippi it is. I apologize to the Jazz fans, of course, for such a huge upheaval, but I'm sure all 8 of you will get over it after getting a glimpse of the world-class public education being taught or yonder. But who named them the Utah Jazz in the first place? Jazz is a certified Bayou banger that the Joseph Smith fanboys snagged, so it only makes sense for it to be returned to the place of origin. As long as Lauri Markkanen doesn't melt, it is an elegant solution I am honored to bring to the table. He can't be traded to the Warriors for similar reasons. Curry is too spicy. Time will tell how he fares with Cajun in the upcoming seasoning. What would this mean for the remaining North and South conferences? Would they be more balanced than the current split? Let's look at how shit the East is to find out. I'm sure nobody has noticed how shit the East is yet. Obviously, this would be a big cultural downgrade for the reigning champs, the Celtics, given how far removed their fan base would be from their native homeland. No, I will not elaborate on that. But really, this shakeup would be distributing more absolutely doo-doo East teams to the North and South a bit more. Most people would agree they'd rather be pissed off than pissed on. But did they consider the 1468 record the Pistons managed to record? Plus, they live in Detroit, like it was totally fine to pile that right on. Have some mercy. Cade Cunningham looks like he wants to crawl in a hole every time I see that guy. It might be no coincidence that the second worst team in the East, jut above the Pistons, is the Whiz Wizards. Come on, man. You can't just name the 2 worst teams after P and get away with it. Adam Silver. Adam Golden, more like. I've figured you out, you bald freak. I absolutely do not have the editing skill to do a sick animation, which slides each team into the new respective conference at the same time. So the next slide is just going to be what it is. I haven't made that B yet. On second thought, I'm not doing that. I'm going back to the map I stole and scribbled on and putting numbers on it in with questionable writing skills, then seeing how close North versus South will be. Here we go. Okay, so the lower the number, the better. The North totals 113. The South coming in at 127. North is definitely a little stacked based on that totally irrelevant metric, but I will point out that the North had more Eastern teams, so the rankings will be inflated. Honestly, it could be worse. Basically, the North has both really good and complete dogwater poo-poo teams, and the South is pretty mid throughout. That's it from me. Adam Silver's still a freak, though.